Hey guys, Sublord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Origins Cartoon Collection Leech from, you guessed it, She-Ra, and the Princesses of Power, who are just going to get absolutely wrecked by the evil horde because we always seem to get more of them than the Princesses of Power themselves. However, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel, who I do hope give us more Princesses of Power. At least, what, Castaspella, Mermista, Angela, you know, the cool ones. We'll see. Only time will tell. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get to the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Leech has to offer in terms of accessories. Starting off with this little gun here, which does clip onto his arm, as opposed to just using this handle that flips out here. I wish it came with two of these, because Grizzlor could use one, Mantena could use one. That said, I got the Super 7 guns, so I'll probably just give mine those. You know, the Super 7's classics, Filmation Classics guns. I'll give them those. I think they will fit in the hands just fine. A little bit more detailed maybe, but in the Super 7 it can't be that much more detailed, right? That said, this can just clip onto his arm like so. Like so. It's a little tough at first, but there you go. Now he's got his little blaster on his arm, which I do think is kind of cool looking. Not gonna lie. But at any rate, on top of that, however, we also get the mini comic, complete with pamphlet, in case you're a simpleton and don't know how these work. But taking a closer look at Leech here, he's got the sucker hands and feet. He should just have regular hands and feet. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, granted, he does stick to my review set a little bit. So I guess that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I never cared for the sucker feet or hands. At least because they don't have an ankle rocker or anything going on. The hands you can at least swap out, I think. Yeah, you can still pop the hands out and give him regular hands. Probably the Masterverse one's hands would fit, but that's kind of detailed for this. I would say the other Leech, the Origins proper Leech, you could swap those hands in, but the greens won't match. So life's just a bitch, isn't it? But as far as articulation goes, his head will look up and down, tilt side to side, rotate, all that fun stuff. Shoulders will go out, back down, rotate forward and back. Single jointed elbow with rotation. He's got a waist twist. Wow, this arm is kind of loose moving. I guess not, but feels looser than normal. Hips will kick out, back down, forward and back. Single jointed knee, swivel at the knee, swivel at the boot, and then the feet do turn. And I will say, when you open this guy, these little tabs on the back are actually on the front. You can turn the foot and these little tabs will be facing backwards. It gives him a slight backward lean, but you could always hunch him forward a bit to offset it. It's a lot easier to stand him this way, is my point. I recommended this to a couple of friends of mine because they kept having shelf dive situations, and let's face it, those suck a hot bag of chimichangas, and that's no fun. You're not going to have a fun time if you're picking up a Cataclysm. So I recommend turning those around. It does give him a little bit of a backward lean, but if he's in the back, he's not going to fall forward and take out half your shelf. That's a plus. So with that being said, I think it is time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Leech alongside the other characters available in this wave of cartoon collection figures. And as I mentioned in the Catra video yesterday, an all villains wave. So that is pretty cool if you ask me. I mean, I'm biased. I like the bad guys more. It is what it is. But of course we have Faker and Speaking of which, Catra, who, again, we did look at yesterday, so check that review out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. And of course, Leech, I always think the Leech figures stack up a little bit bigger than the others because of the suction cup feet, but still, if it was up to me, I would just give him regular feet. It's more stable, you can pose him better. But the suction cup feet do add a little bit of height, which I always like Leech to be a little bigger anyways. I think in the Filmation show he's actually kind of short, so this is definitely not show accurate, but it is what it is. Getting those two out of the way so we can bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Manipulith and the infamous Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone because he is not a 5.5-inch scale figure. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite the fact that good old Leech here is still rocking the sucker feet and hands, which do make him a little unstable at times, I still thoroughly enjoy having this figure as a part of my Filmation Evil Horde, because Leech has always been one of my favorite members of the Horde. I like the Creature of the Black Lagoon aspect of him, despite the fact that, yeah, it would be nice to get some actual legit hands and feet for a Leech figure once in a while. I think the only one where we've gotten both of those is the Masterverse in recent years, and I think it's time for that to change, because I would like to pose Leech in a way that doesn't look like he's trying to squeeze out a fat shit, if you don't mind. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.